All right, let's dive in. We've been fighting the war on cancer for a long, long time. But what if we've been using the wrong WAP? Today, we're digging into a fascinating new paper that suggests it's time to draw a new one that looks way beyond the tumor itself. So let's start with a really big question. What if the real battleground for cancer isn't just a localized tumor, but a vast, interconnected network that spans your entire body, linking your brain, your nervous system, and even the bacteria in your gut? And that right there is the core idea. Researchers are proposing that cancer isn't just a disease of rogue cells going haywire. It's also a disease of communication breakdown, a glitch in this incredible body-wide network that connects our stress response, our ability to calm inflammation, and our all-important gut microbiome. Okay, so what does this shift in thinking actually look like? We're moving from seeing cancer as a single isolated battlefield to seeing it as a conflict happening across a whole body-wide network. For decades, the playbook has been pretty straightforward, right? That's the view on the left. Find the tumor, figure out its genetic weak spot, and attack it directly. But this new view on the right, it changes everything. It says the tumor isn't an island. It's living inside a complex host system. And things like your stress levels, your immune health, and your gut are not just background noise. They are front and center players in this drama. So, if we're talking about a network, who are the main players on this? Well, this internal superhighway. Let's meet the four key members of the crew driving this whole story. First up, deep in the brain, is the locus coeruleus. Yeah, it's a mouthful. Let's just call it the LC. Think of this as your body's central alarm system. It's pumping out noradrenaline, putting you on high alert. That's your fight or flight response. And when that alarm is ringing constantly, it can actually start to suppress the body's natural ability to fight tumors. Now, for every alarm, you need a way to turn it off, right? That's the vagus nerve. This is the body's calming brake pedal. It's this huge nerve that wanders from the brain all the way down through your organs, and its main job is to hit the brakes on inflammation. It basically tells the whole system, okay, everyone, cool it. Next up, the gut microbiome. And no, this is not just about digestion. This is your immune system's personal trainer. It's boot camp. The trillions of microbes living in your gut are constantly teaching your immune cells what to do, and we're now realizing they can have a massive say in whether or not treatments like immunotherapy even work. And finally, we get to the place where the action is the tumor microenvironment. This is the local neighborhood right around the tumor. It's a chaotic battlefield where cancer cells are wrestling with immune cells and blood vessels. And here's the kicker. The health of that entire body-wide network we just talked about can completely tip the scales in this local fight. Okay, so we've met the team. Now for the really interesting part. What happens when you throw a massive shock at this system? You know, something like a cancer diagnosis or a powerful round of chemotherapy? This is the million-dollar question. Because according to this model, the outcome isn't just about the shock itself. It's about how strong the network was before it ever got hit. So check this out. On one hand, you've got a resilient network. The calming brake is working well, the gut is healthy, immunity is strong. When a big stressor hits, that trauma pulse, the system takes the punch, it dips for a bit, but then it bounces right back to normal. But now, look at the flip side, a fragile network. The alarm system is stuck on, the gut's a mess. Now that exact same trauma pulse hits, and it's not a dip. It's a system-wide crash. The whole network goes down, and crucially, it stays down. It gets stuck in a bad state and can't get back up. So the main takeaway here is pretty stunning, isn't it? It's not just about the power of the treatment or the shock of the diagnosis. The long-term outcome has so much to do with the network's starting point, its initial strength, and how all the parts are talking to each other. And over time, these events leave what the paper calls scars on the network. But get this, not all scars are bad. You can have harmful ones, for sure, like getting stuck in a chronic stress loop, but you can also have beneficial scars, like a supercharged immune memory. The network actually learns from the experience. It adapts, gets stronger, maybe even a little bit wiser. I know this might all be sounding a bit theoretical, but here's where the rubber really meets the road. If this network is so important, the next questions are obvious. Can we actually measure its health? And can we do anything to support it? And the answer, amazingly, is yes. We can already track this stuff. In fact, a lot of us are doing it right now without even realizing it. That smartwatch on your wrist, it can measure heart rate variability, or HRV, which is a fantastic window into your nervous system's balance. We can track sleep, we can measure inflammation with a simple blood test. This isn't science fiction, this technology is here today. And that, right there, leads to what might be the most hopeful and exciting part of this whole idea. If we can measure it, can we then actually improve it? Can we make the network more resilient? The paper suggests two ways to do this. There's active support, the stuff you might expect, like breathing exercises, diet, and gentle movement. But here's the part that's a real game changer: passive support. We're talking about redesigning the environment itself. Imagine hospital rooms with lighting that matches our natural body clock, or acoustic designs that help us get deep, restful sleep. It's about creating spaces that support our body's network by default. And this quote, this one says it all. It means we stop telling patients, you need to manage your stress better, as if it's some kind of moral test they're failing. Instead, we see it for what it is: a design problem, an engineering challenge. It completely flips the script and takes the burden of willpower off the individual and puts it on creating smarter, more supportive systems. So when you put all of this together, what does the future of cancer care look like? Well, it points to a new, much more holistic approach, a practice that's systems aware, one that finally sees the whole person, not just their tumor. And just to be clear, this isn't just wishful thinking. The researchers lay out a very concrete roadmap. Step 1, let's use the data we already have to see if things like sleep quality really do predict treatment success. Step 2, let's run small studies on simple interventions like guided breathing. Step 3, let's dig into all that microbiome data. These are all real, doable next steps. And I think this final quote really brings it all home. The point here isn't to get rid of chemotherapy or immunotherapy. Absolutely not. The goal is to make those powerful therapies work even better by supporting the very system, the very body in which they operate. It's about adding a whole new, powerful layer to our toolkit. So we'll leave you with this to think about. What if the next giant leap in medicine isn't a new molecule in a pill? What if it's learning how to design our environments, our hospitals, and our daily routines to create the absolute best conditions for our bodies to heal? It's a profound shift, and it puts the whole person in their whole world right back at the center of the story.